Joining me today in the Cattle Studio on Startup Report is Muirgheal Montecalvo, who is the founder of Vacayou, which brings wellness and active travel to the world. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's do the obligatory quick overview of Vacayou.
Well, Vacayou is a wellness and active travel platform. We're trying to help people find and be inspired, find and book wellness and active travel vacations, experiences. So, yeah.
And we've partnered with you at Seed Funders, and I remember when we first came in to pitch, it was great, and we thought, man,
without a website,
yeah, but just a vision and a dream, and you think, oh man, the travel space is saturated, but you found a place where it really wasn't, and how did you end up making that discovery?
So what happened was, it's kind of a funny story, but I've been in the travel industry for many, many years in the hospitality space, and I wanted to start my own travel company, but I happened to be trying to book a vacation for some friends and us. We were looking for kind of like, while we were on that vacation, a couple of days that we could just have some downtime at like some type of a really nice resort and spa. I think I spent 40 to 50 hours, probably a lot of work hours, online searching. And then about 2 years later, I had a very difficult I should go back. I had a difficult time finding what I was really looking for, and I had to do a lot of research to make sure it was a good place to go and whether I felt comfortable going to a place I wasn't, because it was out of the country. And 2 years later, I decided I wanted to leave. I was at Groupon at the time, and I wanted to leave and start my own travel business. And so I did, and I was going to do something more just U.S. or not U.S., taking U.S. travelers to Europe to do wellness type spa trips and active vacations. And what I quickly started to realize is, as I started to do the research around launching my own business, that perhaps maybe there was an opportunity in the U.S. because nobody had really done what I wanted to do with the wellness and active travel space. And so Vacayou was born.
Yeah. One thing that jumped out at me and how you're operating is a lot of folks come and just try to be aggregators, right? And they make it almost a data exercise. But you're actually really connecting with these destinations and really understanding the packages, sometimes even influencing those packages so that you're bringing, real knowledge, not just, hey, I collected data here and put it all in one space.
Exactly. What we wanted to do was make sure that that what we provided you was a great experience. We wanted to make sure that when we talked to the hotel partners and the providers, that we were curating, experiences that would be special for you, right? So, the whole idea of wellness travel is wellness means something different to everybody, right? So there are people out there that may just really want to get away for a spa weekend. There are other people who may feel like their wellness is fitness and it's going to the gym or it's working out, and maybe they want to go on a fitness vacation. And so what we wanted to do was really we didn't want to aggregate the space so much, but we wanted to provide you with experiences around that fit different people for different needs. But we also wanted to make sure that you realize that we're not just a wellness platform for immersive wellness retreats. We wanted to make sure that when you go on a vacation that's wellness, you're just incorporating part of that into your vacation. So for example, maybe you want to go biking in Napa Valley, but you want to be in the evenings, enjoy some good wine and some good food. So we're trying to bring those experiences to Vacayou.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's look at the company itself. So as you had this vision for this need that you saw. Obviously, there's a website in there. What were sort of the initial? When did you decide to go out to investors, and what was sort of the initial first few steps you were trying to take?
So we put together I put together a business plan. It's kind of funny because it was about this time 3 years ago that I went home to Ireland, where I grew up, and I spent 6 weeks. It was kind of just a real kind of go home type of experience. And I wrote the business plan, and I had done a lot of the research already. I'd realized there was an opportunity. And then I came back, and somebody had introduced me to someone who's now in my company, a couple of people, and they wanted to help me build it. But I had also met with some people here in St. Pete who saw the opportunity as well and suggested I go out and get a proof of concept. So I basically put up the money to start the company myself. I think at the same time I met with you guys about 2 months later. We had just created the business plan and, a deck and things of that nature. And we went out and we did a couple of really great travel shows. We did 2 very, very big active type, adventure type travel shows. And we created a booth, and all this booth had was these pictures of really great experiences: yoga on the beach, yachting, vacations in the Caribbean, mountain climbing, something to do with biking. And people would walk by the booth and go, "What's Vacayou?" And they started filling out a lot of information. They gave us a lot of, information on themselves. They wanted to be part of a focus group. And so that was really exciting. We felt like we really had something. And that was going now into April, May 2019. And so we came back and we started to put together the basis of the initial website. And we started to try and raise funds. And then we closed our first angel round on December 1st, 2019.
That's great. And through that process, were there any major pivots in sort of what your initial path was to some other opportunities or challenges that made you change that path?
Not really. I mean, we always knew that there was still this whole space that we wanted to get into, right? So initially, no. We always knew that we wanted to do, the wellness and active travel space, a little bit of B2B or B2C, I should say, and then focus somewhat on B2B as well, because it's important. Wellness is a very big, space, and it's very much being accepted in the U.S. So not specifically, I don't think we really did had to do anything different until COVID hit. So yeah, that was kind of.
And one of the challenges with these types of marketplace platforms is you have double-sided customer acquisition. You have to get the providers and you've got to get the customers. So what were your strategies to solve that?
So a big part of what I wanted to do and what I still am planning on doing, and as a company now, I've got great people. I'm surrounded by some amazing people. I feel very blessed that we have the team that we have. And we wanted to bring in the technology so that we could, get the inventory on quicker. But you're absolutely right. It's a little bit of the chicken chasing the egg in the beginning, because you're trying to acquire customers, but you also have to get enough inventory to keep them interested. So that's part of what we're building right now, is a little bit of the inventory, the experiences, and then as well as we haven't even launched, probably technically, I guess, April 19th, I think, is when we really kind of started to get our name out there. And yeah.
That's great. And you took the opportunity during the downtime for the pandemic to really build out your infrastructure.
Yeah, so that was kind of an interesting experience. Tried to launch a new travel company right when the world shuts down, right? So I was actually in Germany. I was going to ITB, which is one of the biggest travel shows in the world, getting ready to get a lot of inventory on board, and they shut the show down while I was in Germany. And they'd already shut the borders with Italy, and so we knew we had some work to do. So I came back to the US and started really immersing myself in everything travel. There were because when travel shut down, there was just every webinar and every, thing you could to be on. And what was really interesting is it also gave me an opportunity to really get to know a lot of other people in the travel industry, because they were now available, right? So I made some great contacts through that. And then right at that same time, I was also invited to join Embark in Tampa, which was fantastic. And so I was also now around some really great other startups, and they offered a lot of really great resources through that time and sessions. And I got 2 amazing advisors out of it, one who's now full-time with the company. So it definitely created a chance for us to really build a foundation and to really kind of strategize how we wanted to launch, more so than we originally had planned. So, yeah.
And any major changes then because of the pandemic coming out of?
Not specifically, no. I mean, we still have the same goals in mind. But what is interesting is, I think the pandemic. I mean, I don't want to say it was good for us because it was not good for the world, right? But it ended up being interesting for us, because when we first launched Vacayou, or we were going to launch it, we thought we would have to teach people a lot about wellness travel, right? Europe has done a great job, and Asia and the Far East and stuff. They have some great wellness retreats and wellness resorts, but the U.S. really hadn't embraced the word wellness travel. And I remember talking to some investors very early on, and they always associated the word wellness in the U.S. here with just kind of like your weight loss clinics or and it's not. It's everything, right? It's your health. It's it's everything around how you exercise, how you eat, where you go on vacation. I mean, it's a big industry. So what was very interesting is because of the pandemic, people realize the importance now of staying healthy. And I think it's really become more forefront and more important to people. So in a way, I don't have to educate them as much anymore. I mean, there's a very big part of our website that's dedicated to education and dedicated to teaching you about the opportunities that you can take when you go on these types of trips. But you have more awareness now, I think, as a consumer, that it's important to take care of yourself, right? So, yeah.
And I guess it goes without saying that as you educate and then deliver these experiences, you're building a community around Vacayou, and I'm assuming that there's some nice ways for people to stay connected and take multiple trips with you and become long-term partners.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're building, we just launched our account system, the very early stages of it. So we do plan to build a community around it and have people get engaged. And, we want them to not just take one trip a year. We want them to take the smaller weekend getaways as well. And then, hopefully they'll come back and do the bigger bucket list type wellness vacations, whether it's, a week in Bali or, something like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
And as you talk about adding these new features, is your philosophy as a founder to, Reid Hoffman, who founded LinkedIn, says that if you don't have a lot of people complaining about what you launched, you probably waited too long to launch it, right? Just get it out there and get going. And so at this point, obviously coming out of the pandemic, you're just I'm assuming ready to go and going.
We're already taking bookings on the site. We are slowly ramping up our marketing a little bit. We're still kind of staying, until we've got enough not revenue, but enough inventory on the site, because like we talked about, a little bit of the chicken chasing the egg, right? So, but we are getting the bookings. We are getting a lot of people starting to come traffic-wise, and we've done no marketing really as of yet. The partners are also really excited about us because they've felt that there wasn't this channel there for them, and now there is this channel there for them, which is a little bit different than the traditional channels that they're on, because we're much more inspirational, and we're trying to bring you to a retreat or a resort based on the experience that you want to do versus I want to go to the Hotel ABC in New York for a week and, whatever it is. So we're much more inspirational based, and tomorrow's Global Wellness Day, so we are now starting to pick up speed a little bit. We're going to do a lot around Global Wellness Day to bring awareness to us, more brand awareness at this point, and start to build our database and our community, I guess, is probably a good way of putting it, and building loyalty to the brand and stuff like that, and showing them the experiences, and and we have an amazing set. We have over 800 or 900 pages already built just on our magazine, I think, just with content and information about, different wellness experiences, such as forest bathing, which most people may not think of, right? But when you're walking through a forest, there's something calming about that. Or when you take your shoes off on the beach and you're touching the sand, the energy that comes through your body, it's pretty amazing. And so there's a lot of information about wellness in general on the site.
It sounds like the whole business is wrapped in wellness. Even at the trade show, people were feeling better just walking by your booth. So.
They certainly were, and the funny thing is we've changed our logo since then. I'm like, well, how do I use this booth again? Because it was pretty cool how we got the attention of people. So yeah.
That's great. Well, another innovative brand and technology coming out of Tampa Bay, Muirgheal Montecalvo. Thank you for joining me in the Catalyst studio, and we'll continue to watch you and celebrate your success.
Thank you. Appreciate your time today. Thank you.